morning.
Hi, today is Tuesday, May 19th, and we're going to be reading 2 Samuel 1, 2, and 3.
All right. You have your spot? Oh, and you have your PJ.
The sound will be a happy birthday.
Mario? What?
He says it's Sonic.
Sonic.
Half gray.
Yep, half blue and half gray. You ready?
Yeah,
And you.
That's just the Jameson.
And Daddy has his
I have a
Eagle
gray
Mountain
shirt.
Radio Network. Okay, so chapter 1.
Alright. The death of Saul. After the death of Saul, when David had returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, David had remained 2 days in Ziklag. On the third day, a man came from the camp of Saul with his clothes torn and dirt upon his head. As he approached David, he fell to the ground prostrate. David asked him, "Where have you come from?" He responded, "I fled from the camp of Israel." David said to him, "Tell me, what is the report?" So he reported, "The people fled from battle. Many of the people have fallen and died. Even Saul and his son Jonathan are dead." Then David asked the young man who was reporting to him, "How do you know that Saul and his son Jonathan are dead?" The young man who was reporting to him answered, I happened to be on Mount Gilboa when in front of me Saul was leaning on the spear with the chariots and horsemen drawing close. When he turned around, he noticed me. He summoned me, and I responded, 'Here I am.' He asked me, 'Who are you?' I answered, 'I am an Amalekite.' Then he said to him, 'Stand over me and kill me, for I have been mortally wounded, yet I am still alive.' So I stood beside him and killed him, because I knew he could not live after he had fallen. Then I took the crown that was on his head and the armlet that was on his arm, and I have brought them here to my Lord." And David took hold of his clothes and tore them, as he did all of the men who were with him. They mourned and wept and fasted until evening for Saul, Jonathan his son, and the people of the Lord, and the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. Then David asked the young man who was reporting to him, "Where are you from?" He reported, "Where are you from?" He responded, "I am the son." Wait a minute. Yeah. "I am the son of one who sought refuge, and Amalekite." David said to him, "How is it that you did not fear raising your hand to destroy the anointed of the Lord?" Then David called to one of the young men and said, "Step forward and execute him." So he struck him and killed him. But David said to him, "Your blood is upon your own head, since your mouth has testified against you, saying, 'I put an end to the anointed of the Lord.'" The lament of David. David recited this lament over Saul and Jonathan his son, and he told them to teach the sons of Judah the song of the bow. It is written in the book of Joshua, "Your splendor, O Israel, has been slain upon your hills. How the mighty ones have fallen. Do not report it in Gath. Do not announce it in the streets of Ashkelon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, or the daughters of the uncircumcised exult. O mountains of Gilboa, may there be no rain or dew upon you, or your bountiful fields, for there the shield of the mighty was defiled. The shield of Saul is no longer anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan did not turn back, nor did the sword of Saul return empty. Saul and Jonathan, beloved and delightful, neither in life nor death will they be separated. They were swifter than eagles, they were stronger than lions. O daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who clothed you in scarlet and jewels, who adorned your garments with gold jewelry. How the mighty ones have fallen in the midst of battle. Jonathan was slain on your high place. I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. You were very dear to me. Your love was more remarkable than the love of women. How the mighty have fallen, and the weapons of war have perished. Chapter 2. David anointed king over Judah. After this, David consulted the Lord, asking, "Shall I go to one of the cities of Judah?" The Lord responded to him, "Go up." David asked, "Where should I go?" He said, "Hebron." So David went up there along with his two wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail the widow of Nabal the Carmelite. And David brought the men who were with him, each man with his household, and they lived in the cities of Hebron. Then the men of Judah came and there anointed David as king over the house of Judah. And they informed David that it was the men of Judah, Jabesh Gilead, who had buried Saul. So David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead, saying, May you be blessed by the Lord, who you have shown his loyalty to your lord Saul by burying him. Now may the Lord show you loyalty and faithfulness, even as I deal kindly with you who have done this thing. Now may your hands be strong, and may you be courageous, since your lord Saul is dead, and the house of Judah has anointed me as king over them. War between the houses of David and Saul. However, Abner, the son of Ner, commander of the army of Saul, had taken Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim. He installed them as king over Gilead, the Asherites, Jezreel, Ephraim, and Benjamin, over Israel in its entirety. Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and he ruled for 2 years. However, the house of Judah followed David. The length of time during which David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Abner, the son of Ner, with the servants of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim toward Gibeon. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, with the servants of David, went out in order to meet together at the pool of Gibeon. They sat down, one group on one side of the pool and the other group on the other side of the pool, opposite them. Abner suggested to Joab, Let the young men come forward and compete before us. And Joab replied, Let them come. So they stepped forward and were counted, 12 from Benjamin and Ishbosheth, and 12 from the servants of David. Each one grabbed his opponent by the head and thrust his sword in his opponent's side, so they fell down together. Therefore, that place was called Helkath Hazzurim, which is at Gibeon. The fighting was very fierce that day, but Abner and the men of Israel were defeated by the servants of David. Now the 3 sons of Zeruiah were there, Joab, Abishai, and Ashel. And Ashel was as fast as a wild gazelle. So Ashel pursued Abner, and as he went, he did not turn to the right hand or to the left from following Abner. Abner, looking behind him, and said, Is that you, Ashel? He answered, It is I. Abner said to him, Turn aside to your right or left, overtake one of the young men, and take his equipment for yourself. But Ashel was not willing to desist. Abner continued still to reason with Ashel, Abandon your pursuit. Why should I strike you down? How then could I show my face to your brother Joab? But he refused to desist. So Abner struck him in the abdomen with the butt of his spear, so that the spear came out of his back. He fell there and died on the spot. When all of the others came to the place where Ashel fell and died, they halted. But Joab and Abishai pursued Abner. As the sun was setting, they came to the hill of Ammah, which is next to Giah, on the way to the wilderness of Gibeon. The sons of Benjamin gathered to the rear of Abner into a single formation, and they took their stand atop of the hills. Abner called to Joab, Must the sword consume forever? Do you not understand that a bitter taste will result in the end? How long will you refuse to command the people to withdraw from chasing their brothers? Joab responded, As God lives, I assure you that if you had not said this, the people would have each pursued his brother throughout the night. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still. They pursued Israel no longer, nor did they continue to fight anymore. So Abner and his men traveled through the Arabah all that night, crossed the Jordan, and marched all morning until they returned to Mahanaim. Joab refrained from pursuing Abner, but instead mustered all of the people. There were 19 men besides Ashel missing from among the servants of David. But the servants of David routed Benjamin and the men of Abner. 360 of their men died. They carried Ashel back and entombed him in his father's tomb, which was at Bethlehem. Then Joab and his men traveled throughout the night and reached Hebron at dawn. Chapter 3. The struggle between the house of Saul and the house of David endured, but David grew stronger as Saul became weaker. Sons were born to David in Hebron. His firstborn was Amnon by Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and his second Eliab by Abigail, the widow of Nabal the Carmelite, and the third Absalom, the daughter of Macheth,
The
son of Macheth, the daughter of Talmai, the king of Geshur, and the fourth Adonijah, the son of Haggith, and the fifth Shephithah, the son of Abital, and the sixth Ithream was born to Eglah, the wife of David. These were born to David in Hebron. Abner defects to David. While there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner was strengthening himself in the house of Saul. Now Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, and Ishbosheth said to Abner, "Why have you gone into my father's concubine?" Abner became very angry over the words of Ishbosheth. He said, "Am I a dog's head that belongs to Judah? Each day I showed loyalty to this house of Saul your father, to his brothers, and to his friends, by not allowing you to fall into the hand of David. Yet today you are charging me with guilt concerning this woman. May God do so to Abner and more also, for as the Lord has sworn to David, this I will do for him, to transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul, and to establish the throne of David over Israel, and Judah over Dan to Beersheba." And he could not offer a response to Abner for fear of him. So Abner sent messengers to David on his behalf, saying, "To whom does the land belong? Make your covenant with me, and my hand will be with you to bring over all Israel to you." He responded, "Very well, I will make a covenant with you, but I require one thing from you. You will not see my face unless you bring Michal, the daughter of Saul, with you when you come to see me." Then David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, saying, "Give me my wife Michal, to whom I was betrothed, for 100 Philistine foreskins." So Ishbosheth sent for her and took her from the husband Paltiel, the son of Laish. But her husband went with her, weeping as he went as far as Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, "Go, return." So he turned back. Abner had a word with the elders of Israel. "In days past you were seeking David as king over you, so do it now, because the Lord said to David, 'By the hand of David I will save my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines and from the hand of every enemy.'" Abner also spoke privately with Benjamin. Then Abner went to tell David privately at Hebron all that was received favorably by Israel and the entire house of Benjamin. So Abner, along with 20 men, went to David at Hebron, and David held a festival for Abner and the men who were with him. Abner said to David, "Let me arise, go and gather all Israel to my lord the king, so that they may make a covenant with you, that they may rule over all that your hearts desires." So David sent Abner away, and he went peacefully. Joab murders Abner. Now the servants of David and Joab came from a raid and brought much plunder with them. But Abner was no longer with David at Hebron, because he had sent him away in peace. When Joab and the whole of the army that was with him arrived, they reported to Joab, "Abner the son of Ner came to the king, and he sent him away peacefully." So Joab went to the king and said, "What have you done? Abner came to you. Why is it that you sent him away? Now he is long gone. You know that Abner the son of Ner came to receive you, to learn of your coming and going, to discern all that you are doing." When Joab left David, he sent messengers after Abner, and they brought him back from the well of Sirah. However, David was not aware of this. So Abner returned to Hebron, and Joab pulled him aside in the gateway so as to speak with him undisturbed. There he struck him in the midsection so that he died on the account of the blood of Asahel his brother. Afterward, when David heard of this, he said, "My kingdom and I are forever blameless before the Lord for the blood of Abner the son of Ner. May it fall upon the head of Joab and upon all his father's house. May the house of Joab never be without one who has a discharge, or who is a leper, or who leans on a staff, or who falls by the sword, or who lacks food." So Joab and his brother Abishai killed Abner because he killed Asahel, their brother, at Gibeon in the battle. David said to Joab and all of the people with him, tear your clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourn before Abner. As for King David, he followed behind the bier. When they buried Abner at Hebron, the king raised his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all of the people wept. Then the king lamented for Abner, saying, Should Abner have died as a fool dies? Your hands were not bound, and your feet were not put in fetters. As a man falls before the wicked, so you have fallen. And all of the people continued to weep over him. Then all of the people came to persuade David to eat food while it was still day. But David took an oath, saying, May God do to me and more also if I taste food or anything else before the sun sets. All of the people recognized this, and it pleased them, as everything that the king did was pleasing to all of the people. That very day, all of the people of Israel understood that it was not ordered from the king to have Abner the son of Ner killed. David said to his servant, Do you not understand that a great leader has fallen this day in Israel? Today I am weak, even if an anointed king, and these men, the sons of Zeruiah, are too strong for me. May the Lord repay the evildoer according to his wickedness.
And that is 2 Samuel, chapters 1, 2, and 3.
Bye. If you subscribe, to like and comment.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day. Bye.